I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. It's Friday.
I'm really certain it's Friday today. This time I got it right. I had an issue earlier this week.
That's all right. We eventually got there.
I had 2 Thursdays. Not good.
It felt like it.
It did.
Especially if your power's out. Have you seen this is coming back again?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm hearing also some people in Boulder still without it. And I'm kind of like, wait, why? Why wouldn't we, when the wind goes, why can't we turn back on? I don't understand.
There's a headline in the Denver Post. Yeah. How long is food and medication safe without refrigeration? That's what we have to deal with right now.
That's our timeline today. That's just great.
I was like, wait, thanks to the commie state of Colorado, it's 2025, and we're less capable and secure than Coloradans in 1925.
God, I can't believe that they can't just turn it back on. It wasn't blowing that much the entire time. I don't know.
And we don't have the ability to identify where this is happening and just shut that street off. Remember, that's how it used to be. If your telephone pole went down or a tree fell across, the street or the block
the
that
area
it was on,
or even just a couple of blocks or something.
But now it's like the entire city.
I have a feeling, now this just might be me, I have a feeling a lot of this, as far as how much is shut down, was run through the legal department.
Oh,
and they were just
100%.
Shut it all down. They're like, just turn off all the power in the state, because otherwise you're going to be paying out some more money.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
There's
my
a
feeling.
lot to discuss there. Plus, Trump moving to dismantle major U.S. climate research center here in Colorado, the National Center for Atmospheric Research, getting shut down. Is this Tina Peters' response or an appropriate step in addressing wokeness that was taking place there? We'll talk all about it.
This seems, to me, this is just stupid, because it's just dumb. Yeah, let's not find out about the environment and society. I'm certain that, not knowing about it is going to help a lot. I'm sure that's always worked out great in the past.
I don't know, Bill. It did have the Rising Voices Center for Indigenous and Earth Sciences, making the sciences more welcoming and inclusive and justice-centered. So, clearly, really important work. We'll get into that. Plus, Chris Murray's going to join us as new Cardinals, taking the reins in the largest diocese in America, in New York City. Give us some insight on how Catholics are thinking about all this. And Gabe Evans, Congressman, is going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour controversial vote on transgender surgeries for minors. Interested in hearing his thoughts. So we've got an absolutely jam-packed day as we wrap up this week. Now, though, it's time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good morning, TGIF. 40 with cloudy conditions in Denver. Expecting a high of 64 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, Excel, says tens of thousands of customers will be impacted by power shutoffs again today. They were expected to start about an hour ago and would impact nearly 70,000 customers in Boulder, Clear Creek, Gilpin, Jefferson, Larimer, and Weld counties. The company said some customers may be without power for 3 days. High wind gusts caused 160,000 customers to lose power Wednesday due to unplanned outages from down lines. Excel says all lines need to be visually inspected before they can be re-energized. Over 14,000 acres are burned due to fires in Yuma County. Tyson Brown, a fourth-generation farmer, born and raised in Yuma.
What we're trying to do is just make a break in the soil so that way the fire doesn't have as much available fuel.
Local farmers and ranchers are being praised for stepping up to help volunteer firefighters with the containment efforts Wednesday night and into Thursday. The Office of Emergency Management said all 3 fires were contained. As of Thursday evening, no serious injuries were reported, and authorities believe no homes were lost. That's a good thing. And a lot of the irrigation ditches were burned as well. That's a good thing. 2 Tren de Aragua members have been indicted on multiple charges in Colorado. The U.S. Attorney's Office announced the indictment of Brawlins Dominique Suarez Villegas and Giovanni Vicente Mascaro Serrano on Thursday. Investigators say the 2 are leaders in TDA, and they conspired to commit crimes such as robbery, extortion, kidnapping, and money laundering. Both men face racketeering, conspiracy, and other charges. Though Suarez Villegas is the only one in custody at this time. All right, the man accused of the Brown University mass shooting is also the gunman who killed an MIT professor Monday. 48-year-old Claudio Neves Valente, a Portuguese national, was found dead of suicide Thursday in New Hampshire at a storage unit, DJT suspending the nation's green card lottery after it was used by Valente. He entered the country in 2017 through the lottery immigrant visa program. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said the program has now been paused. Good. The owner of TikTok has signed a deal that would create a U.S. version of the popular social media app on Thursday. The CEO of TikTok announced that they struck a deal to create a joint venture that will be majority owned by Americans. A new executive order by 47 is calling for astronauts to return to the moon by 2028. The order signed Thursday also calls for construction to begin on a permanent moon base by 2030, as well as the deployment of nuclear reactors in orbit and on the lunar surface. And in case you didn't hear this, NASCAR driver Greg Biffle died in a plane crash in North Carolina. North Carolina State Highway Patrol says Biffle was among the 7 people killed when his private jet burst into flames while landing at Statesville Regional Airport about 50 miles north of Charlotte. His family was among the 7 killed. We have a lot more coming up at 9 o'clock, and it's going to be a big show today for Jeff and Billy. It's their last day before Christmas, I believe. Overtime in Seattle last night. Seahawks down by 1 and going for 2 against the Rams.
Varner in motion. Darnold throws. Caught for the 2 points. Eric Saubert. They throw to a guy who hadn't made a catch or was targeted all night long.
And they win at 38-37 in OT, the Seahawks.
Yes. I'd like just to take a minute and get your idea about that idea of the 2-point conversion. Do you think it's been a plus or a minus to football as a whole?
Oh, well, to the NFL, because college football and high school has always had it.
They've always had it. So, NFL,
absolutely.
Better,
so a plus by far.
Once
again, if we just killed extra point kicking and field goal kicks, the game would be so much better. It would be, I mean, Jeff would hate it, but it would be tremendous.
Got to be something there for the little guy. The little guys in the world.
As I've said before, that's the only way I would ever make it into the NFL as a kicker. Right? So that's the only way I ever would have. But I agree. I don't think the field goal kicker is necessarily needed. The other thing that I would do is, again, if I was in charge of the NFL, you're allowed 1 kicker on the roster. You don't get to have a field goal kicker and a punter and a kickoff specialist. You're allowed 1.
That's a
you
good
can
one.
Pick.
That's
and that's it. And they better be good at everything. I hate this idea that football is so specialized that the dude that kicks the field goal can't do the punts. I'm sorry.
I agree.
What? I'm sorry, the skill is not so specialized that kicking the ball after you drop it from the air is different than kicking it when it's being held on the ground.
Yes.
It's the same basic physics.
I agree.
The same basic motion. They should be allowed one slot for a kicker, and that's it. And if you don't want to have one, teach someone else on the team to do it. If you can get away with it, fine. You get an extra roster spot. But I do like the idea of getting rid of the extra point and doing something like it's 1 point if the ball starts on the 1 yard line. It's 2 points if it's on the 3, and then I'll give you 4 points if you start on the 5.
Oh, I love it.
And then
I love it. That's a good one. That is a good one. Every kicker can punt and every punter can kick.
Yes.
You're exactly
Every single
right.
one could. The idea that it's specialized, no, you don't need it. And again, it's not, in my mind, it is not that important overall to the game to have those specialty kickers. No.
Really?
Yeah.
For a punter to drop it in the 5 is not that important?
Oh, it isn't. No, it's a fantastic skill. But the idea that person is the only person on the team or the only thing, he can't kick field goals as well. No. That person should be able to drop the punt inside the 5 and also hit the 50-yard field goal. And the reason why, I've seen soccer goalies do that damn thing for decades. I have seen them drop the ball one corner of this, and I've seen them punt it, and I've seen them kick it off the ground 70 yards. I've seen them do all of that. Somehow and again, I understand, the soccer people are not as strong and tough and virile and masculine as the NFL players. But if the wussy guy who wears gloves and a funny-looking shirt and long shorts in a goal can pick up the ball and kick it 70 yards and somehow can have it on the ground and also kick it 70 yards, I'm pretty sure the tough football guys can figure it out too. Pretty sure that we can figure this one out. Just
Everyone,
saying.
Half the team can punt it.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah, they really can.
It gets technical and the spirals and and you know how you hit it and end over end and how it lands, whatever. That's great.
Like the Broncos, our punter's fantastic. The dude that came from the Australian Football League, dude's great because he's specialized in that idea of kicking an oblong ball into these tiny places, which is wonderful. I'm pretty sure that at some point or another he's kicked the ball off the ground. Pretty sure. Not in the rugby side of things, but he's done it.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
absolutely. With the more difficult ball.
Exactly. I'm like,
more
challenging
shape.
One kicker. We could have an extra running back, and the Broncos wouldn't be as screwed right now. Just saying.
Oh, I agree with you. Yeah, get rid of the kickers. Jeff will get over it. You know? All right, college football playoff that kicks off tonight. Woohoo! 8-seeded Oklahoma plays host to 9-seeded Alabama, and the Sooners. You may remember they beat the Tide last month in the regular season, 23-21. The Magic at the Nuggets last night.
Nice in for the rebound. Nuggets got a little perkiness. Murray fires! Take cover!
All right, Chris Marlowe.
Oh, that's great.
They got a little perkiness. Oh, man, if you knew Chris, it makes it even funnier. 126 to 115, 20th victory of the season for the Nuggets. Jamal Murray, 32 points, 7 3-pointers. Winnipeg in town tonight to take on the Avs at 7:37 in Louisville, 38 in Littleton, 40 in Denver. Is it really 40 degrees? I got to check that again. You're waking up with Jeff and Bill. Blake Olson, News Talk, 710 KNUS.
Temperatures bounce right back up again after a cooler day yesterday. We'll be upper 60s and near 70 today, but windy. It'll be especially windy in the foothills and along and west of I-25, especially north to the Wyoming line. Then temperatures go back down again as a Pacific cold front gets pushed into the area tonight and Saturday. Lows tonight upper 30s, high Saturday cooling to the 50s. Late tonight and Saturday a possible shower or two, then rebounding temperatures back to the 50s to near 60 for Sunday and Monday. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Well, not certain this was exactly the interpretation that the guy that wrote it had in mind, but still, it's great. This comes out in...
this is... Man, like
Aretha's.
I love the Temptations.
Yeah.
Good soul music. Oh!
And this is fantastic. And this is...
So good.
Yeah, this
Aretha
one, Joy
Franklin.
to the World, is published early 1700s and takes inspiration from a couple of books of the Bible. Those I don't remember which ones, but that was
Matthew
the
and
idea.
Luke.
I don't think
Probably?
so.
No?
I want to say Psalms is one of them,
Well,
but
yeah.
I don't know what else. I know there's another one. I want to say Old Testament, but again, don't know.
The description, though, of the
yeah.
heavenly bodies singing. Remember the shepherds out in the field?
Yes.
And the heavenly bodies singing and all these angels and the whole sky full.
Yeah.
Joy to the world.
See? And that's kind of the interpretation that he came from. And so it's an interesting one. This is one that's kind of had morphs, and it's one of the more popular Christmas carols in America, one of the more published ones. Tons and tons of people have redone it. God, isn't it like, I don't want to say, is it Nitty Gritty Dirt Band? It's Three Dog Night. That's the one. Three Dog Night. They're the ones that have the most famous, that really kind of broke through and brought this song again into popular culture. Yes, Three Dog Night. Yeah, that took me a minute.
Well, I'm
it's
singing
early.
Joy to the World because we're shutting down the National Center for Atmospheric Research. Good night. This thing has gone woke. Reading through all the wonderful things they provided, it's like 25 years ago. It's like, we learned that we could drop things into hurricanes via planes and measure them. Okay. What you been doing since? Well, we've been very busy recently. The National Center for Atmospheric Research getting shut down by the Trump administration in part because it just went in weird directions. Rising Voices Center for Indigenous and Earth Sciences. Housed there in Boulder, seeking to make the sciences more welcoming, inclusive, and justice-centered. What the heck? What is that? What does justice-centered science mean?
I'm not sure based on the interpretation, but I understand not liking that program. The question I've got is, why can't they just close that program? Why do you close the entire center? Because that's not the only thing they do. It's not as if NCAR just did all this woke, crazy science. They were still researching and monitoring atmospheric conditions, and they were sort of the hub for hurricane, storm research, things like that. And I can't understand why we would say this is going to be better if we don't have more information about the atmosphere and the weather around us. That's pretty much what this turns into, is that it'll all be better if we just close our eyes, as if Excel Energy saying, instead of turning off the power, maybe if you just all closed your eyes and covered your ears, you wouldn't know there's wind. Then the weather wouldn't affect you, right? That's what I see in this.
This is because they weren't doing that. They had an art series aimed at building our relationship with water through mediums such as recycled materials, photography, oil paintings, and more, as well as research into wind turbines that seek to, quote, better understand and predict the impact of weather conditions and changing climate on offshore wind production.
Well,
The whole thing had gone woke.
Well, the
hadn't
idea of understanding
updated any of their research into hurricanes in 25 years.
I don't know. I mean, I see them still doing research, and I see them still monitoring hurricanes and tornadoes and such. So they're still doing that work. And their groups and people that are affiliated with them are the ones that actually fly into the hurricanes right now to take a look at it. And so the idea is they were the hub and the center of that. And again, I understand the idea of not liking some of those programs that go a little bit outside of what seems to be the direct purpose of the organization. But I disagree that the best thing to do is shut down everything. It seems like the other stuff is still necessary and needed. And that's the weird part, is that, but again, we don't like science in America anymore. So this is
Bill,
just
if
about
it was
perfect.
about science, it would be fine. They went
No,
woke.
it's not about science.
What?
It's not about science at all, because if they were worried about it going woke, they'd close down the woke programs. If they were concerned about the science, there would be an analysis about the science.
So intrinsic now to everything that libs do that if it's important, if it's so critical, well, then there'll be private financing that'll pop up and it'll go just fine. You don't need the government to do everything. And in this case, it had just been, I'm looking at what they provided in this USA Today article. It's like National Center for Atmospheric Research, so important. Okay, what did you do? Well, 25 years ago, we learned we could drop stuff into hurricanes. Like, okay, well, what'd you do this year? 25 years ago, we learned you could drop things into hurricanes. I don't know what's so critical today that they do that something else out there can't do.
They monitor a lot of the atmospheric conditions.
Are they the only ones?
The hub.
Are they the only ones doing it?
They're the hub of it, and everybody else is normally a feeder outside of them. The information comes in and then is aggregated and analyzed there. They're like
what does
a lot
do?
of it. What do you mean? I don't understand.
Like, I don't know what it does. As a hub, so what?
Okay,
so
but
what,
hang on a sec.
so what happens when it goes there?
Here's the issue. Is when you say you don't understand what happens there, then how do you know that everything that they do is woke? Because there's large portions of what they do based on atmospheric and environmental research, meaning what is happening in the weather around the world and predictive models. A lot of the stuff that we have as far as our local weather forecasts, a lot of that is born outside of NCAR. That's basically what they do. That's where that hub is.
So we're not going to get our weather reports if we shut them down.
It's going to be much less accurate. They're going to be much less accurate.
How do you know that?
Because that's how the science works.
No,
that's what it is.
I think you're just assuming. You're like, if they don't do this, well, then everything is going to be terrible. And
I didn't say anything's going to be terrible. I'm just going to say we're going to know less. And that's probably going to be important in some cases. And I doubt the idea of a profit motive. You don't want to have someone coming in and going, hey, there's going to be a hurricane coming, but we've decided to raise our rates. Unless you go ahead and chart and we're going to pay this now, we're not going to go ahead and tell you when the hurricane's going to be coming. You don't do this as a profit motive. That's not if you're doing this as education in science, you don't do it on that level. It is necessary to know what is happening with the science and the environment. And that's what some of the stuff, and a large portion of it actually, is what they were doing up there. I understand closing the woke stuff. Go right ahead. But this is cutting off your nose to spite your face. This is just deciding that because we don't like climate science, we're going to shut them down. And not understanding what the climate and the weather is doing is going to be a detriment. But again, at America right now, we have an argument against science. We don't like science at this point.
We don't have an argument against science.
Absolutely we do.
We're against these government programs that I can't tell you of why they're so absolutely critical that we have to keep them around.
Because we don't understand science.
The Earth's atmosphere, weather, climate, and related systems through research, advanced modeling, powerful supercomputers, as if they're the only ones doing this. They're not the only ones doing this. And frankly, I'd rather have for-profit operations going because they have to actually prove their worth to their clients all the time. Whereas these guys just get money that pops up. And so what do they do with their money? Well, they come up with, these indigenous justice centers. I mean, it's totally wasteful. So why not? It's like with public radio. It's like if we don't have public radio, then all of a sudden we're not going to be able to get our news. Whatever. No, you're totally going to be able to get your news from other resources. You just don't have to pour your money into this thing that has demonstrated, one, that there hasn't been any major breakthrough in their research in a long time, because what USA Today highlights is 25 years ago they learned they could drop stuff into hurricanes. And then two,
that's not
where they end up putting their money is into justice climate sciences.
No, they've helped us model and understand how climate patterns and changes work. Part of the reason that we know or don't know when it's going to snow in the mountains is the work that they do. And that's what they do right now. But,
and
who
if
cares?
It's vital, here's Russ Vogt.
Yeah.
Okay? The facility is one of the largest sources of climate alarmism in the country. A comprehensive review is underway, and any vital activities, such as weather research, will just be moved to another entity or location. So you're still going to get it. You just don't get it there.
Sure
Where you've been demonstrating that's just a bunch of woke political stuff.
Sure, they'll just move it somewhere else. I trust that. I don't trust that at all. I don't trust that in the least. And the idea is move it to where? Move it to what location with where? Because again, if we're going to pick that up and move it somewhere, so now the idea is we're just going to move it to another location. So are we moving those people? Are we moving facilities? How much more extra money is it going to cost us? The idea is we're going to go spend.
Oh, come on.
No, hang on.
Biden
if we're
did
worried
the
about
same
it,
thing with BLM. He moved it right back to D.C. the minute he got in.
Again, I didn't agree with that, but the idea is I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb that the idea of, we have this existing facility, rather than closing the stuff that we disagree with, we're just going to shut the entire thing down and then spend more money to move people and change things and do all this and build this other stuff over here and then try to integrate them with other programs. We are going to make this process more complicated. We're going to spend more money and be dumber because of it, because we don't like this one facility. This is just stupid.
No,
I mean, this is virtue
can't
signaling.
Tell me what
this
they
is,
actually
This is
do.
virtue signaling. Yes, I
no,
did. They do climate research. And yes, they're virtue
pouring
signaling.
money into a program that says sits there and tells you about indigenous justice-centered clients.
What's the percentage of their budget that goes to that?
I
Is
have
it
no
significant?
idea.
Then how do we know
if
it's significant?
It's $1, you're telling me. If it's $1, you're telling me that you don't have your priorities right.
No, I'm saying
absolutely.
What I'm saying is how do we know it's significant? What I'm looking at is if
I don't care if it's significant.
Well,
I care it's $1.
Hang on. Then why can't we just close that program and keep the facility open?
Because if
That's
you're
my point.
leading the National Science Foundation, the National Center for Atmospheric Research, and you think that $1 should be spent on indigenous justice-centered climate issues, then you're telling me everything I need to know about the type of person that you
That's where I get to the point of virtue signaling. It's the same argument you have on the other side when people say, well, we have to do it because the idea that where you said yesterday, kindness is everything on the woke commitments.
Kindness
same thing.
is everything.
That's what I'm hearing on this side. It's just flipped 180%. That I'm going to virtue signal because I think all of that you do is crap because you're involved in this one group. So because you think that's okay, everything else that you do is obviously suspect. So we're going to virtue signal by just discounting everything and saying everything that you do is wrong.
Not
Yes,
virtue signaling.
it is.
If it's
absolutely
responsible management.
It's not responsible management.
It's like having dad back in charge of the checkbook. We're actually going to make decisions with regards to good decisions with regard to money.
It's not responsible management.
The Rising Voices Center for Indigenous Earth Sciences, to get down to justice-centered science and to make it more welcoming, tells me you have no idea why you should be there, what you're doing with the money. You're obviously abusing taxpayer dollars. We're going to shut down the whole thing. And if this is so critical as a function, we'll just move it to another aspect of the government.
The responsible leadership would be shut down those programs, not shut down the entire thing. Shutting down the entire thing is just throwing the baby out with the bathwater, cutting your nose off to spite your face. Fine. But that's where we are in this administration. Great. That's it. We got measles outbreaks, whooping cough outbreaks, and now we won't know anything about hurricanes. It's great weather patterns.
Right.
Great. Wonderful.
The chicken little sky's falling because the government's not getting the money in this one program. All of a sudden, we're not going to know anything about hurricanes?
We won't know as much. We won't have the research, and that's okay. That's what we don't like because we don't like science. This administration doesn't like science. That's okay.
Dude, we just came through the whole Fauci disaster thing, and we're saying this is.
But that was because we didn't understand science. It's not the Fauci disaster. It's because we didn't understand science.
No, it's because they abused their positions to drive their political
Not
agendas.
in the least. We've talked before how everybody had misunderstandings about Fauci said. I still am waiting for anybody to show me where Fauci said that if you take the vaccine,
he's so
you won't
innocent,
get it.
He needed a preemptive pardon.
No, that's not my point. My point is where Fauci said that if you take the vaccine, we're 100% not going to get COVID. He never said that. That was Biden. Fauci never said that, but it's attributed to him over and over again. That's because us as Americans got it wrong, and now we indict him over something he didn't say.
Yes, because he was engaged in gain-of-function research and lied to the American people about where this thing came from.
He didn't say that, and he didn't say that thing that everybody indicts him for. Never said it, yet we pillory him because of that.
Well,
that's how accurate we are
on this issue.
No, I'm being accurate about it.
The Biden administration was terrible when it came to science. Terrible. And used science to drive their political agendas. The adults are in the room cleaning it up. It's time for the National Center for
Dr. Oz and RFK Jr. disagree.
Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line at 720-819-5115. Should the National Center for Atmospheric Research stay open? Is it really critical? Can you tell me what it does that's so important? Or was it just a vehicle to become an avenue to drive leftist political agendas that were wasting your taxpayer dollars so that the libs could feel better about it? Give us a call. Want to hear directly from you. Let's talk Dan Caplis with Dan Caplis Law. Dan suggests you should choose a lawyer who shares your values because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everyone involved in the case. Dan Caplis is the son of a police officer and a former seminarian who's dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who've been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado history. Dan Caplis Law, the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call. Here's the phone number, 303-770-5551. 303-770-5551, or hit dancaplislaw.com. That's Dan, CAPLIS law.com. Phone line's hot on this. Text messages really hot. We'll get to those next. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS. This is Mariah Carey. This is one of the more unusual contemporary Christmas songs that gets popular. It's one of the most popular songs in America in the Christmas era. Mariah makes millions every Christmas season off this song.
Oh, yeah, I bet her royalty check in January is amazing.
Oh, yeah. It's #1 on Billboard in sales right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Always is.
This is why. It always is. Now, the songwriter that's an arranger that she worked with on this one is the same one that had worked with many of Whitney Houston's hits. They'd worked together before, and they wrote this one again, I believe, in the middle of the summer because it had to be ready in time for the Christmas season. And they went back, again, strange enough, we talked about this, Phil Spector's Christmas album. That's what they were trying to replicate. We talked about it with the Tom Petty song. There are a couple of other examples of it. This also takes inspiration from the Phil Spector Christmas album. Oddly enough, the musical arranger and the composer thought it was a little too simple. Didn't think it was going to be hit because the composition is too simple. When this was released, never released as a single. They wanted to drive album sales from Mariah's Christmas album, so you couldn't buy it only. You had to get her album in order to get this one, and yeah, it worked. Worked beautifully. It was an amazing selling album. Yeah, she makes so much money off of this one.
I also think the movie Love Actually has a lot to do with it. I mean, it's a fun. They use that song a lot, especially at the end of.
It's
Love
used
Actually.
a lot in a lot of things.
You. All right. Headline out of USA Today: Trump moves to dismantle major U.S. climate research center in Colorado. The libs losing their minds over this, in part because it's one of the 6 commandments of wokeness: is that climate change is real. It's those little banners, that people put outside their house. I call them the 6 commandments of wokeness. This is one of them. This is a direct threat. How dare Donald Trump take away the money from really critical research into climate change. But it's not just that. It's spun off into other areas of wokeness. The Rising Voices Center for Indigenous and Earth Sciences, seeking to make the sciences more welcoming, inclusive, and justice-centered, as well as a whole art series aimed at building our relationship with water. So the adults are back in the room. We're $37 trillion in debt. We're not going to spend our money on this stuff anymore. Yeah. By the way, they're also saying, Russ Vogt, that this is where a lot of the climate alarmism comes from.
They're also one of the leaders in global modeling and predictive software and looking at weather patterns and atmospheric patterns. And that's just day-to-day weather as far as what's going on around the world.
But Brian from Littleland saying it's redundant. We already have the National Weather Service to handle predictions.
Yeah, but the National Weather Service computer modeling runs through NCAR. It's where a lot of it comes from. They do a lot of the work. They're the ones doing the math.
Well, let's just send it over to National Weather Service. Why not just send the modeling over there?
Why not put the computers and leave them where they are and close down the stuff we don't like? Why not continue to do the stuff? Why is it the idea that, this building is corroded by the woke? Yes, we've caught all the woke here, and we must fumigate the entire building and move all these things.
Shut it all down.
Well, why not just run the computers? Exactly. No. That's why hate the science and do virtue signaling. Just shut it all down because the building has caught the woke. That's exactly what I said in the first segment.
Jacqueline saying she's happy to provide those services. She's going to go outside and look up, see that it's cloudy and cold, and that the tumbleweeds are blowing by.
Yeah. Do you know what's going to happen 3 days from now?
That is better research right there from Jacqueline in Nebraska than what you got out of.
That's no research at all. No, that's
it's great.
That is
wonderful research.
That is wrong, and you know it is wrong. But that's okay. It makes your point, but that is completely wrong. It is not as accurate as what NCAR was doing to go outside and look up in the sky. That's just disproven on facts. Just the idea that they were one of the largest and global leaders in computer and atmospheric modeling. That's not the same as you going out and looking up in the sky. And all I'm telling you is, if you went out and you looked up in the sky, would you have known there were going to be high winds yesterday, the day before,
so our power
on Monday?
Still be on?
No, that's not the issue. I'm asking about predictive.
I think how they use all this data is exactly the point.
I'm talking about predictive models. Could you have looked?
This is the entity that
Could you
makes
have
you
looked in the
believe
sky? Could you
that
have looked
this
in the
is
sky on Monday and figured out it was going to be windy on Wednesday?
this is not
Did
just
you have
about
any
weather.
predictive model?
This is
No
the
predictive
place
model.
where the idea that because the global temperature dropped half a degree, now you all need to shiver in your houses because we need to be relied upon wind for your power.
That's what I said.
This
The virtue
is-
signaling.
This
is the virtue signaling. This is exactly
This
it.
is the
You're proving my
entity that all the progressive virtue signaling comes out of.
You're
Mr.
proving my
Thorne.
point. You're doing all the virtue signaling there because the building has caught the woke. We're much more accurate to go outside and stand and look up. Yeah, hope that works in the blizzards. Good job. Woo! Nice job.
I think
See,
it'd
we
be
hate science.
better than what you're
We hate
getting out of
science.
these guys.
No, not at all. But
All
that's
right,
okay. The
let's
science
go.
doesn't say that, nor does the math.
See how worked up they get? It's because it's one of the 6 commandments of wokeness. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Tony Littleton. Good morning, Tony. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Do we agree that the basic research that's been conducted in the U.S. by universities and institutions set up by the government, that for the last 70 years that our nation has benefited from that basic research? Do we agree on that or do we not?
Some of it, but I also think it's been politicized in big ways to drive an agenda, communist agenda.
Is there everything's not communist, but
when you don't have power because the government wants you not to, yeah, I think so. I would consider
you
that
think
communist.
I don't want to get off. You think the government is the one that shut down the power yesterday?
Yeah, in part. And they're also the reason you're not going to have natural gas in your house anymore. And
okay, let's stick to the research center in Boulder. So the concern now that I think many people in the scientific community are concerned about is China's now saying, come to China and do your basic research in China, and we'll put the money up for these programs. And
good.
And that's well. Did you say good?
Yeah, what's wrong with that? If another country wants to pay for the research and we get to benefit as a world, as a globe because of it, who cares?
There would be some that would argue that we have benefited and part of our strength is and our leadership in so many areas is a byproduct of that basic research. Well, the reason I bring up this entity is you may have heard like the CDC after they fired off all these doctors and so forth. California set up a program and has now hired the bulk of them to go to California and lean on their college system as part of their research community. And so through government and private funding, he's taking these entities that are being closed down and then moving them to California. Now, whether this one may be the same, we'll have to see. This is kind of an important one. He may say, we've got the infrastructure in California, so between private money and government money, move it all to California. And that may happen, just like he did with the people from the CDC. And then that's not just California. It's 4 or 5 states, Oregon, Washington. We might be involved in that.
I mean, Tony, in many ways, you're like confirming that this is a lot of just lib progressive stuff. That the people that are going to take them up and make sure they continue to have jobs are the most progressive states out there. So aren't you just confirming Trump's point that this is all captured by progressive ideologies?
No, what it's confirming is that Gavin Newsom recognizes the value of the research that's been done in this country over the last 70 years, and he'd like to continue having that research done in the United States.
What has the National Center for Atmospheric Research provided that's so important to you right now? Today?
I can't personally say outline all the tasks that they've performed, but given the amount of time that they've been at it, I'm assuming that what they're doing is largely basic research that's being used by multiple entities, that sharpening our understanding of weather patterns and climate patterns, and you even heard the guy from Heritage Foundation make the claim that, oh, these guys are the alarmists around global warming, and that's what that's really the answer. That's why they want to get rid of it, is because that group is probably outlining the threat of global warming, and that is certainly something that Donald Trump and his administration doesn't want to hear.
Because it's not a threat. It's not a threat. And I'm Tony, look, I appreciate the call, and I recognize I'm violating one of the 6 commandments of wokeness, that climate change and its man-made impact is this major environmental crisis that we need to address. Progressives don't even believe that, and you know that because they're willing to get on a plane and drive their cars every single day. So this entity, the National Center for Atmospheric Research, was just chock full of these people that believe that if the temperature of the earth changes a half degree, then all the alarms need to go off. You need to sit in your apartment with no heat and eat crickets for the rest of your life like a good communist should. It was captured. It wasn't about research. If the work it was doing was so critical, well, then it can go somewhere else like the National Weather Service, so we can better track storms. But this entity was in the business of driving a woke agenda. It had the Rising Voices Center for Indigenous and Earth Sciences that was making the sciences more welcoming, inclusive, and justice-centered. Time to wrap it up. We'll let the important work be done in other areas, and we're saving taxpayers dollars.
Yeah,
and you'll
they're
be
one
just
of the leading
fine.
computer modeling
You'll
of
still
weather and
know
forecasts
where
on
the
the
weather's
planet.
coming from.
No, just we won't know it as well because we're cutting off some of the information.
I guarantee
They've
you
got the
6
best
months
computer
from now, you'll
modeling
still be
there.
able to look at the weather and figure out what's going to happen.
It's just not going to be as accurate. That's okay.
No,
Who cares?
you're setting up you can't even prove that. You're not even going to prove that either way.
No, we know that if we shut down
NCAR,
NCAR, it'll be less accurate because I mean, again, they're talking about moving the stuff. Do we know? Do we know what they think is important or vital? We don't know.
Hold on. The weather guy might not be accurate? Oh, my gosh. All right. We've got You Choose the News Loser Edition coming up. The debate was a lot of fun. Plus, Chris Murray is going to be live in studio next. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS. just last song with Mariah, we were talking about the influence of Phil Spector. This is off that album with Darlene Love. And she's the lead singer of the Crystals.
I can hear it now that you said that.
Yeah, that's the influence. When they're shooting for this is the sound that Mariah's shooting for, is this right here, and you can hear it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, this is Phil Spector, Darlene Love. They actually did a change mid-'60s when we were involved in some military conflicts. They changed this to Johnny, Please Come Home, and it kind of was a little war song as well at times, which was very clever marketing, but not nearly as popular as this one. The song's not as good. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Thorpe, it's Friday.
Yes. I know that now.
People have been asking for it. The You Choose the News Loser Edition.
Yes, I think honestly they've just been saying I'm a loser, but I'll take it either way. Yes, it is that time of the morning where we get to do a little silliness. It's the You Choose the News Loser Edition.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Loser! Let's go. Loser! You're a loser!
The Losers Club. Bunch of losers.
You're such a loser. You made me feel like a loser!
She's a loser. You are such a loser. Loser.
Yes, these are the stories that Jeff and Blake said were not worthy of our attention earlier this week. They come back on Fridays for a second shot at glory. You know how this works? Silly stories I find on interwebs, even more dumb headlines, and we're goofing off because nobody's paying attention to this time of the morning, so shh, it's a big secret. Blake Olson is in the news department. Jeff Hunt still in the studio. Gentlemen, your headline selections. Number 1, well, it happens in Vegas. Number 2, can I lick it? Number 3, what we all came for. And number 4, isn't this a Halloween thing? Mr. Hunt, your choice.
What we all came for.
Yeah, what we all came for. Yep. Recently, there was a huge announcement from CI Games. They presented an all-new trailer for their Lords of the Fallen 2 at the Game Awards. This was unveiling the backstory and the setting, and gamers were going nuts for it. But there was one major concern. But there steps up the CI Games CEO, the head of the studio, stepped up, and he assuaged everybody's worries at the Game Awards, proudly reminding gamers out there, yes, do not worry. Lords of the Fallen, slated for release in 2026, will, of course, feature very attractive female characters wearing revealing outfits. Don't worry, guys. You're going to get your eye candy. Yes, that was a real announcement. Yes, seriously. The CEO had to make an announcement saying, yes, we are going to have attractive female characters that wear revealing outfits in the game. That was important. I know.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
the
to those
timeline we have.
gamers.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, guys. Okay, Blake. Okay, here we go. It happens in Vegas. Can I lick it, or isn't this a Halloween thing?
I love how Jeff and I have been avoiding this all week.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Can I lick it?
Can I lick it? You might have seen this locally. The story did make the rounds earlier this week. To celebrate National Syrup Day earlier this week on the 17th, America's Diner, Denny's, launched Sticky Kicks. They were limited edition high-top sneakers made with real syrup inside the shoe.
What?
Yep. These shoes are designed to be a fun tribute to the topping that's been fueling Denny's Grand Slams for decades now. Each pair features a clear panel that is filled with real syrup. There's syrup-colored patent leather tumbled with yellow accents and the Denny's logo embossed on the heel.
Does look pretty cool.
Yep. Sticky Kicks. They were $195 and they went on sale December 17th. I think they're sold out. Yes.
Wow.
So,
and it has actual syrup that moves around inside it.
Yeah, like the little air chamber.
Up?
Yeah, the little chamber at the bottom is actually filled with syrup.
Yeah, they're now being flipped for $900.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
And if you buy them for $900, you're an idiot. Okay, Jeff, it happens in Vegas, or isn't this a Halloween thing?
Isn't it a Halloween thing?
Yeah, isn't this a Halloween thing? In Biloxi, Mississippi, they recently arrested 33-year-old Camille Benson for pulling that old Halloween trick. Razor blades in the food. She had been walking into a local Walmart placing razor blades in loaves of bread.
What?
It was found in 2 different locations in Walmart, 2 different days,
Great.
December 5th and December 8th. Again, Biloxi, Mississippi. The 33-year-old was caught on camera walking in and out of the stores, and they did monitor her movements throughout the store and saw her messing with the loaves of bread after customers had complained at both locations. And yes, there were razor blades inside the bread. I know.
I feel like that would
Isn't
be
that
something
crazy?
you would discover. Like,
Yeah.
Like you don't just bite into a loaf
No,
of bread.
that was the thing is they were going through it and they noticed there was a slice in it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's the reason that they kind of looked at it. Yeah. So that's how
There's
they found
some
it.
weirdos out there.
Yeah.
I heard they
do.
never found the person that was poisoning the Tylenol.
No.
Like a long
Yeah.
time ago.
No.
The results now in all the
Yeah. They never
caps
found him.
and
Yeah.
weird stuff.
And the
You
other
have
one
to
we
use
happened in Vegas. It's a dude that is suing a casino because he was He got too drunk and he put up too much markers and they're holding him hostage. And so he's like, no, I got to sue you for that. Okay, we got to be back after this.
Listening to Jeff and